The night was quiet on the edge of Colony 9, a forgotten human outpost floating at the border of the Andrian Nebula. Only the sound of humming power lines and soft wind against metal walls filled the air. Eli Rain, a young engineer, worked late in his small repair shed. His tools were old, his coffee cold, and his dreams smaller than they used to be. He fixed drones, delivery bots, even broken farming machines, but nothing ever changed. Until that night. When he heard the sound, not mechanical, not human, a faint, soft cry, like glass breaking under moonlight. Eli stood up, frowning. "What was that?" he whispered. He stepped outside, scanning the dark street. The nebula's faint blue light shimmered through the fog. Then he saw it, a trail of glowing dust, almost like starlight, leading toward the forest ridge. Something inside him told him to follow. He grabbed his lamp and walked through the thin mist. The air felt strange, colder, alive somehow. Then, just beyond the ridge, he saw her. A small figure, kneeling on the ground, her wings, yes, wings, shimmering with faint turquoise light. One wing was bent, broken at the middle like cracked glass. She looked up, frightened, her silver blue eyes glowing faintly. "Don't come close," she said, her voice soft but filled with fear. Eli froze. "Hey, it's okay. You're hurt," he said gently. Her hair shimmered like starlight, and her dress looked woven from light itself. She wasn't human, not exactly. "I just need to fix it," she whispered, touching her broken wing. "They'll come for me if I don't fly." "Who will?" Eli asked, kneeling down slowly. "The guard," she said. "They belong to the Empress." Eli didn't know what she meant, but the way she said Empress made his skin crawl. He looked closer at her wing. The structure looked almost mechanical, a blend of organic and crystal. "I can fix things," he said softly. "I can try." She hesitated. "You're human," she said like it was something dangerous. He smiled slightly. "Yeah, last time I checked." For a moment, she looked at him, unsure. Then she nodded slowly. "My name is Lyra." Eli got to work, using his smallest tools. The wing flickered, pulsing faint blue light. Each time he touched it, it sent soft energy vibrations through his hands, almost alive. "You're not from here, are you?" he asked. Lyra shook her head. "No. I came through the veil. I wasn't supposed to. I fell when my wing was hit by a storm." "Veil?" Eli repeated, confused. She looked at him quietly. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." "Try me," he said. Before she could answer, a sudden distant sound cut through the night, a deep humming, like thunder made of metal. The trees shimmered as blue lights appeared in the sky. Lyra's face turned pale. "They found me." "Who?" "The Empress's hunters." Eli turned toward the light. 3 glowing orbs hovered above the forest, scanning beams of light across the ground. "Come on," Eli said quickly. "We have to move." He lifted her gently, careful not to touch the broken wing. They ran through the fog, slipping between fallen beams and rusted machines. Lyra's glow flickered weaker with each step. "Eli," she whispered, "if they find you helping me, they'll take you too." "Then we better make sure they don't," he said firmly. They reached his workshop just as the beams passed over the forest edge. He closed the door and turned off every light. The room was dark except for the faint glow of Lyra's wings. He set her on the work table. "Hold still," he said. "I can fix this." Her voice was trembling. "You don't understand. If you fix my wing, the Empress will know. Every repair sends a signal through the link." "I'll take that risk," Eli said. She looked at him in shock. "Why?" He hesitated. "Because no one deserves to be hunted for being lost." The glow from her wing pulsed once, then twice, and the crystal structure slowly repaired under his hands. Blue light filled the room, soft but powerful. Then suddenly, the light flared bright, and a strange mark appeared on the wall, burning like fire, a symbol of a crown with wings. Lyra gasped. No, she knows now. Eli stepped back. What does that mean? Lyra's voice was barely a whisper. It means the Empress has seen you, and she never forgets a human who touches her kind. Outside, the night turned silent again. But somewhere far above the nebula, a golden ship stirred. And a woman with eyes like the stars opened them for the first time in 1,000 years, deep within the silver halls of the celestial palace, far above the Andrian nebula, the Empress opened her eyes. Her throne room shimmered like living light, made from crystal and dark energy. For ages, she had slept, her mind connected to the energy flow of every creature she ruled. And now, she felt something new. A strange pulse from the lower worlds. A human had touched one of her kind. Her gaze sharpened. Bring me the echo vision, she commanded. From the shadows, mechanical guardians floated forward, their forms half metal, half spirit. They projected an image in the air, the small fairy girl, Lyra, glowing weakly, and a human repairing her wing. The Empress leaned forward. So, he fixed the lost one, she whispered. Her voice was calm, but the air cracked like lightning. No human has ever done that. One of her advisors, a tall winged figure made of glass, spoke softly. Should we erase him, my Empress? She smiled faintly. No, not yet. I want to see the man who dares to fix what belongs to me. Down on Colony 9, Eli had no idea that his life had already changed forever. Lyra rested on a cot in his small repair shop, her wings glowing faint blue now that they were whole again. She looked peaceful, but Eli could feel the air pulsing with strange energy. He sat at his desk, turning a small piece of crystal between his fingers, the shard that had broken off her wing. It still pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat. He whispered to himself, "What are you, really?" Suddenly, Lyra stirred. Her eyes opened, shining silver in the dim light. She's awake, she said softly. Eli frowned. Who? The Empress. She knows your name now. My name, he repeated. I never even met her. Lyra shook her head. When you fixed my wing, you used human tools on a royal pattern. That connection reached her. In her world, everything that carries her energy feels her touch. Eli exhaled slowly. So what happens now? Lyra looked away. If she sends her guard, there's no escape. Outside, the colony lights flickered. The ground hummed with a low vibration, like a storm coming from the sky. Eli stood up, checking his scanners. Something's entering orbit. Lyra's glow dimmed. They're here already. He ran to the door. High above the colony, 3 golden spheres pierced through the clouds, moving silently. Their light was soft but deadly. Eli grabbed his toolkit. We have to hide you. Lyra shook her head. You can't. They'll sense my wing. It carries her mark. Then I'll find a way to mask it, he said, already moving to his console. I built signal jammers for old defense drones. Maybe they'll work. Lyra watched him in silence. He was only human, fragile, small, yet he worked with courage she had never seen even among the Empress's strongest warriors. Finally, she said quietly, why are you helping me? You owe me nothing. Eli didn't stop typing. Maybe not. But you fell here, hurt, alone. I couldn't just walk away. Lyra's eyes softened. You're strange, Eli Rain. The jammer activated, sending out a pulse of static energy. For a moment, the scanners above flickered and lost signal. But in the sky, the lead golden sphere tilted, and the Empress's voice echoed through her soldiers' minds. Do not attack. Watch him. This human may be of use. Inside the palace, the Empress stood before the projection again. She studied Eli carefully, his rough hands, the focused look in his eyes, the way he shielded the small fairy girl. "There's something in him," she whispered. "Something rare." Her advisor bowed. "Shall we capture them, my Empress?" The Empress turned away, her gown flowing like mist. "No. Let them run. Let the human believe he's safe. I wish to see what he does next." She walked toward a large mirror glowing with shifting galaxies. Her reflection showed not only her face, but the entire network of energy she ruled. One connection line glowed brighter than all the rest. A thin silver thread stretching from her world, straight to Eli Rain. She touched it lightly, and across the distance, Eli suddenly felt a cold shiver crawl up his spine. Lyra saw him pause. "What's wrong?" He looked at his hands. "I don't know. It feels like someone just looked inside me." Lyra closed her eyes. "That's her. The Empress is watching you." Outside, the golden spheres retreated back into the night sky. For now, the colony was safe. But Eli knew it wouldn't last. He turned to Lyra. "If she's coming for me, I need to understand what I'm up against." Lyra nodded. "Then you must see the veil, the place where my world meets yours." Eli hesitated. "Can I even survive there?" She gave a small smile. "Not as you are. But there's a way. The Empress made humans long ago, as helpers for her kind. Maybe that's why you could fix my wing." He frowned. "What do you mean, made humans?" Lyra met his eyes. "Your kind wasn't born from Earth, not completely." The room fell silent. The hum of the machines faded into a strange stillness. Eli whispered, "Then who am I?" Lyra looked toward the window, where the stars glowed faintly through the nebula. "That," she said softly, "is what the Empress wants to remember." Far above them, the Empress's smile returned, slow, knowing, and dangerous. "The boy has the spark," she said. "Bring him to me, alive." For 3 nights, the colony skies stayed strangely silent. The golden ships did not return, but Eli could feel them, somewhere above the clouds, waiting. He hadn't slept much. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the Empress's symbol glowing on his workshop wall, the winged crown that had burned itself into his memory. Lyra sat near the window, her wings dimmed to hide her light. She looked weaker than before. "You need energy, don't you?" Eli asked, adjusting a circuit coil. She nodded. "The veil draws power from both sides. Being here too long drains me." "The veil again," Eli said. "You keep mentioning it. What is it, really?" Lyra looked up. "It's the border between your world and mine, a barrier made of living light. It keeps humans and celestials apart. Only a few can cross it and survive." He frowned. "And you think I can?" She hesitated. "You touched my wing and survived the shock. That means you share something with our kind. Maybe the Empress built you to be more than human." Eli shook his head slowly. "Built? You make it sound like we were made in a lab." Lyra's eyes softened. "Not a lab. A forge of stars." Before he could reply, the ground trembled. The colony alarms began to wail. Through the window, blue streaks of light shot down from the clouds, not ships, but tears in the sky itself. Lyra gasped. "She's opening the veil." Eli ran to the console. "That's impossible. Nothing can survive direct exposure to." Then the air split open right outside his workshop, and a glowing rift formed, swirling light, like liquid glass bending through time. Lyra's voice trembled. "She's pulling it closer. She wants you to come through." Eli stared into the rift. Shapes moved inside, tall, winged figures, shadows with eyes like burning stars. "Yeah," he muttered. Doesn't look like an invitation I want to accept. Lyra stood weakly. If you don't, she'll take the whole colony instead. The veil consumes what it touches. The walls began to crack under the pressure. The air filled with static, lifting small objects into the air. Eli grabbed his gear. Then let's go. Show me how to stop this. Lyra took his hand, her touch warm and glowing. Close your eyes and don't let go. He obeyed. The world exploded into light. Eli felt weightless, falling and floating at the same time. He opened his eyes to see colors that didn't exist, rivers of light, shifting mountains made of memory, and stars breathing in slow rhythm. This is the veil, he whispered. Lyra's wings flared bright again, fully healed. This is the space between life and thought. The Empress rules beyond this. They stepped onto a bridge of energy, pulsing with each heartbeat. Below them, shadows moved, memories of worlds destroyed by her power. She created this? Eli asked. Lyra nodded. A long time ago, before humans forgot their purpose. What purpose? To build. To serve. To dream for her. Humans were once the engineers of the Empress's realm. But when they learned to dream on their own, she feared them. Eli's chest tightened. So she erased us. Yes, Lyra whispered. She sent your kind to the lower worlds, Earth and the colonies, sealed away behind the veil. But some of her power still sleeps in human hands. That's why you could repair what no machine can. Eli's mind spun. You're saying, we're not just humans. We're part of her creation. Lyra looked at him. Exactly. And now she wants to take back what she lost. Suddenly, the bridge trembled. A shadow appeared ahead, tall, glowing, with eyes like molten gold. The Empress's herald, Lyra said quietly. The figure spoke, voice echoing like thunder underwater. Eli Rain. You are summoned by her radiant majesty. Kneel, and be brought into the family. Eli took a step back. Yeah, not really my thing. The herald raised his arm, and the light around him darkened. Energy beams lashed out, shaking the bridge. Lyra shouted, "Run!" Eli pulled her along as the bridge shattered behind them, the shards of light falling into endless space. They reached a glowing doorway at the edge of the veil. Go! Lyra cried. But what about you? I'll hold it. I can slow him down. Lyra. She smiled sadly. You fixed my wing. Now let me return the favor. Before he could argue, she pushed him through the doorway. The world spun again, and he landed hard on a cold, metallic surface. The light dimmed. He looked up, and gasped. He wasn't in his colony anymore. He stood in a massive hall of crystal pillars, surrounded by starlight and silence. At the end of the hall, a throne floated above the floor. And upon it, sat the Empress herself. Her eyes glowed like twin suns, her wings vast and shining like galaxies. Welcome home, human, she said softly. You fixed what is mine. Now, I will fix what is broken in you. Eli rose to his feet, heart pounding. This was no dream. He had crossed the veil, and entered the heart of her domain. Eli stood frozen, his breath caught in his throat. The Empress was not what he expected. She wasn't a monster or a machine. She looked almost human, if humans were made of light. Her eyes shone brighter than any star, her wings stretched wide like living crystal, and her voice carried the calm weight of eternity. Eli Rain, she said softly. You have crossed the veil, something no human has done in 10,000 cycles. Eli tried to speak, but the air around him felt thick. His voice came out rough. I didn't come here by choice. I came to protect Lyra. The Empress tilted her head slightly. Ah, the little lost one. Yes, she was careless. But she brought me something far more valuable. Eli's fists tightened. You mean me? A small smile crossed her lips. You speak with courage. That's rare for your kind. He stepped forward, his boots echoing in the silent chamber. Why did you bring me here? Her wings shimmered faintly. To remember. Eli frowned. Remember what? She stood from her throne, and the entire hall glowed brighter. The stars behind her walls pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. Long ago, she began, before humans learned fear, they were my children, my builders, my dreamers. I gave you form and will. But when you began to create without my command, you broke away. You called it freedom. Eli stared at her. So you punished us. I protected you from yourselves, she replied calmly. Without guidance, humans destroy what they touch. You built weapons that tore through worlds. So I sealed your kind beyond the veil, where time is slower and life is smaller. He shook his head slowly. No. You caged us because you were afraid. Her golden eyes narrowed slightly, but she smiled. Perhaps. Fear and love are not so different when you've lived long enough. Eli felt anger rising in his chest. And Lyra? She fell because of you. She was scared, alone. The Empress walked closer, her light casting shifting patterns on the floor. Lyra disobeyed. She left her realm to see the lower worlds. Curiosity is dangerous. Still, you repaired her wing when no one else could. Her tone softened. That means your blood remembers the spark. Eli frowned. Spark. She raised her hand, and a beam of soft light appeared in front of him. It showed his own body, glowing faintly with blue energy lines. You carry a dormant seed of creation, she said. A gift from me that your kind forgot. It's what made you fix the girl's wing. You didn't learn that, you remembered it. Eli stepped back, confused. So what do you want from me? Her wings opened fully now, spreading across the hall like galaxies unfolding. I want you to stay, she said simply. To join my family again. To become what humans were meant to be. Eli's voice was quiet but steady. And if I refuse? The Empress looked sad for a moment. Then your world will fade. The veil is already open, Eli. Your colony cannot survive the collapse. Stay with me, and I will protect them. Leave me, and everything you know will vanish. Eli felt his heart race. He didn't know what was truth anymore, only that he couldn't trust her calm smile. You want control, he said. You talk about family, but what you want is power. The Empress turned, her face unreadable. Power is not evil, child. Power simply is. It is what you do with it that decides the story. Eli's voice grew sharper. Then why destroy us for wanting to dream? The Empress paused, and for the first time, her calm voice faltered. Because your dreams frightened even the stars. A long silence filled the hall. Eli looked down at his hands, glowing faintly with the same blue light as her wings. Maybe it's time the stars stop deciding who gets to dream, he said quietly. Her expression changed, not anger, not hatred, but curiosity. You speak like one of us, she said softly. That is why I chose you. She reached out a hand, and a wave of energy surrounded him. He couldn't move. His thoughts flashed like lightning, memories of his colony, of fixing broken machines, of Lyra's fear. What are you doing? He shouted. Her voice echoed all around him. Showing you the truth. The hall faded away. Suddenly, Eli stood in a vast white space, floating images surrounding him like ghosts. He saw humans working beside winged beings, building cities of light. He saw stars being born and worlds created by hands like his. Then, war. Explosions of energy, entire systems torn apart. Humans turning their tools against their creators. And the Empress, watching her children destroy each other, weeping light that became the veil itself. Her voice whispered through the vision. I gave you freedom. You gave me ruin. The light faded, and he was back in the throne hall. The Empress looked down at him, her eyes filled with a strange, sad pride. Now you understand, she said. You are one of the few who still can. Eli's chest burned with confusion and pity. If all you wanted was peace, he said, then why chain your own people? The Empress's eyes softened. Because peace without memory is the only kind that lasts. Eli stared at her for a long moment. Then he said quietly, then I'll help you remember. The Empress tilted her head. You would help me? He nodded. But not as your servant. As your equal. The hall went still. Even the light paused. Then, slowly, the Empress smiled. We shall see, human. We shall see. Her eyes glowed brighter. But first, you must survive the proving. The what? Eli asked. Her wings unfolded like a storm. If you wish to stand beside me, you must prove you can wield what you've inherited. Only the worthy may hold creation itself. The floor beneath him cracked, opening into a vortex of light. Eli barely had time to shout before the world swallowed him whole. Eli felt the world twist around him. One moment he stood before the Empress. The next, he was falling through light. It wasn't air or space, it was something between both, warm, endless, alive. When he hit the ground, it felt like landing on liquid glass. The world shimmered into shape, a vast plain of glowing sand under a sky of moving colors. A voice echoed through the emptiness, soft, powerful, and everywhere at once. Welcome, Eli Rain. This is the trial of creation. He turned slowly. The sky itself seemed to pulse with the Empress's voice. What is this place? He shouted. A reflection of your soul, she said. Here, thought becomes matter. Will becomes life. Only those who understand creation can control it. Prove you are worthy, or fade into the dust. Eli looked down. His hands were glowing faint blue. The same light from Lyra's wing. He took a deep breath. All right, he muttered. Let's see what I can do. He thought of home, his small workshop, the tools, the hum of old machines. In front of him, the sand began to shift. Metal parts rose from the ground, forming shapes, bolts, wires, gears, all floating, waiting for his command. He reached out. The parts moved together, forming a drone, the same model he used to repair colony circuits. It hovered for a second, then powered down. Eli smiled faintly. So I can build things here. The Empress's voice replied, creation without purpose is only noise. Give it meaning. He frowned. Meaning? Then he saw movement in the distance, a shadow walking across the glowing desert. Tall, dark, and burning with gold light. A figure emerged, half machine, half celestial warrior, wings sharp as blades. Its face was emotionless, but its voice was the Empress's again, cold and calm. Your creation must defend you. Survive, and you learn control. Fail, and you are forgotten. The warrior raised its arm, and energy surged through the sky. A beam of light crashed toward him. Eli dove aside, barely missing it. The ground exploded in a burst of sparks. Okay, guess this is the test, he muttered. He called out to the drone. Come on, move. The little machine flickered, then came to life. It flew toward the warrior, releasing an energy pulse. The hit made the creature stumble, but not fall. Eli focused harder. I need more power, something stronger. He pictured a defense shield, the kind the colony used to block radiation storms. The air rippled, and a glowing barrier formed around him. The next blast hit the shield and scattered like water on glass. Eli grinned. Got you. The Empress's voice echoed again, almost amused. Interesting. You build not from fear, but instinct. The warrior charged forward, swinging a blade of pure light. It hit the shield hard, cracking it. Eli stumbled back. His heart raced. He focused again, images flashing through his mind. Machines. Engines. Wings. He raised his hands, and from the ground rose a massive shape, metal feathers, energy coils, and light. A mechanical guardian, half machine, half angel, formed behind him, towering over both. The warrior paused. Eli pointed. Defend. The guardian spread its wings and unleashed a wave of force that shook the sky. The golden warrior shattered into dust, disappearing in a flash. The silence that followed felt heavy. The air settled. The light dimmed. Eli fell to his knees, breathing hard. Is it over? The Empress's voice softened. You built not for destruction, but for protection. You remember the true meaning of creation. The world around him shifted. The glowing sand faded into darkness. Then, suddenly, he was back in the crystal hall. The Empress stood before him, her expression calm but her eyes glowing brighter than before. You did not disappoint, she said. Eli wiped sweat from his brow, though he wasn't sure if it was real. That was a test. She nodded slowly. It was a glimpse of what you could become. Most who enter the trial lose themselves to greed, or rage, or power. But you built to protect. You remembered your origin. Eli looked up at her. Origin. The Empress stepped closer. The first humans were not warriors. They were makers. They shaped life and light. You have that gift again. Eli shook his head. I'm just an engineer. I fix things. She smiled faintly. And that is what gods do. Her words hit him like a wave. Gods. You can rebuild what was broken, she said. Not just machines, but the bond between worlds. That is why I want you in the royal family, Eli Rain. You are the bridge. Eli stood silent, his mind racing. You mean, you want me to join you? Her gaze softened, almost tender. Yes. Not as a servant, but as my successor. He stared in disbelief. Successor? You're immortal. Her smile faded. Even stars die, Eli. I have ruled too long. I have lost faith in my own creation. But you still believe in it. He felt his chest tighten. If I say no? The Empress's wings shimmered, and for a moment, he saw sadness in her eyes. Then the veil will fall, and both our worlds will be unmade. You are the balance now. The hall trembled, faint energy rippling through the walls. Your trial is not over, she said softly. You passed the test of creation. Now comes the test of heart. Eli frowned. Heart. The Empress turned away, her light dimming. The one you call Lyra still lives. But she has been taken, by those who wish to destroy both our worlds. Eli froze. Taken? By who? Her wings folded slowly. By the fallen, my first children, who chose chaos over order. To save her, you must enter their realm. Eli looked down at his glowing hands, then up at her. Then tell me where to start. The Empress met his gaze. You already have. It begins where your courage ends. The floor beneath him began to open again, light swirling upward. And this time, Eli stepped into it willingly, light swallowed Eli whole. Then, darkness. He landed hard on rough ground. The air was thick, metallic, and cold. When he opened his eyes, he saw a world that felt wrong. The sky was cracked like shattered glass, bleeding red light through long black clouds. The ground pulsed faintly beneath his feet, as if the world itself was alive, and in pain. Eli stood slowly, trying to steady his breath. Lyra, he whispered. Her name felt like an anchor. He looked around. Towers of broken metal and bone rose from the earth like dead trees. Between them floated fragments of lost machines, half angel, half monster. This was not creation. It was corruption. Then he heard it, a voice, faint and trembling. Eli. His heart jumped. He spun toward the sound. Lyra stood a few meters away, her wings dim and torn, one glowing faintly blue, the same light he once repaired. Her eyes widened as she saw him. Eli, she cried, running toward him. He caught her as she stumbled into his arms. Her body was light, fragile, like holding a piece of starlight. I thought I lost you, he said softly. You shouldn't have come here, she whispered. This place, it eats everything pure. Even light. I had to, he said. The Empress said you were taken. Lyra's eyes filled with fear. Then she knows who took me. Before Eli could ask, a deep rumble echoed through the air. The ground shook. A massive structure in the distance came alive, like a fortress breathing. From it, shadows rose, dozens of winged figures with burning eyes and black armor. Lyra's voice trembled. The fallen. They came closer, angels without halos, wings like blades, faces twisted in anger and grief. The one leading them wore a crown made of shattered crystal. His wings were scorched gold, half melted from some ancient fire. Human, he said in a voice that was part thunder, part whisper. You enter our realm uninvited. Eli stood firm. I came for her. The fallen leader tilted his head. Her. The child of our enemy? Lyra stepped forward. You were once like her, she said. You served the light. The fallen laughed, the sound echoing through the cracked sky. We served lies. The Empress promised freedom, but built a cage of worship. Eli frowned. You think destruction will fix that? The leader's golden eyes narrowed. Destruction is truth. Creation always ends in decay. The Empress hides this, but I will show you. He raised his hand. The air twisted. Around them, the ground opened, showing visions, burning cities, dying stars, and broken angels crying in the dark. Eli stepped closer. You did this? The fallen smiled faintly. We revealed what was already dying. Lyra's voice cracked. You became what you hated. The leader looked at her sadly. We became what we were meant to be. He turned his gaze to Eli. And you, human, you repaired the child of the Empress. You used her power to rebuild. That means you carry a spark. Eli said nothing. The fallen stepped closer. Give it to me, and I will end the Empress's reign. Together, we will remake everything. Eli's hand glowed faintly blue, the mark of the trial. You want the power she gave me? I want the truth it hides, the fallen said. The Empress fears you. That is why she sent you here, to test if you are loyal. Eli's chest tightened. She sent me to save Lyra. The fallen laughed. No. She sent you to choose. The air trembled. Join me, and I will return the light of humankind. Stay with her, and your kind will fade again into silence. Eli looked at Lyra. She was shaking her head, tears in her eyes. Don't listen, she whispered. He twists everything. That's what the fallen do. But Eli's mind was racing. The Empress had tested him before. Could this be another one? The fallen extended a hand. Decide. Creation or truth? Eli took a slow breath. You talk about truth, he said quietly. But all I see here is pain. The fallen's eyes darkened. Pain is truth. Eli shook his head. No. Pain is what happens when truth is lost. He raised his glowing hand. The blue light grew brighter, cutting through the red haze. You want my spark? Then take it. He slammed his hand to the ground. Light exploded, pure and white, brighter than the sun. The shockwave threw the fallen backward. The corrupted sky cracked further, light pouring through like rivers. Lyra cried out, shielding her eyes. The fallen screamed as the light hit them. Their armor melted, their wings burned away, and for a brief moment, Eli saw what they truly were, broken stars, still reaching for the heavens. Then they were gone. Silence. Only the soft hum of the glowing sand beneath his feet. Eli fell to his knees, exhausted. Lyra knelt beside him, her eyes wide. You freed them, she whispered. Eli shook his head. No. Just showed them what they forgot. She smiled weakly. You changed their world, Eli. He looked at her, then at the light still bleeding through the cracks above. Maybe. But something tells me this isn't over. Lyra's expression darkened. You're right. The Empress won't be pleased. The fallen were her children once. You destroyed what was left of them. Eli looked up at the sky, where light and shadow still battled for control. Then I guess my next trial will be facing her. Lyra's voice softened. And if she sees it as betrayal? Eli stood, his eyes glowing faint blue. Then I'll show her the same truth I showed them. The ground began to shake again. A blinding column of light rose in the distance, the Empress's summons. Lyra grabbed his arm. Eli, she's calling you back. He nodded, breathing deep. Then let's go. And as they stepped into the light together, the corrupted world behind them began to collapse, folding into silence. The light swallowed Eli and Lyra whole. For a moment, there was nothing but silence. Then, the world unfolded around them, not of metal or stone, but of living light. They stood once again in the hall of the Empress. The air shimmered like heat above a desert. Every beam, every crystal sang softly with power. But this time, the hall was not empty. Thousands of celestial beings knelt in rows, wings folded, eyes glowing faint gold. At the far end, the Empress sat upon her floating throne, her gaze piercing through worlds. Her wings were larger than ever, galaxies of color, stars burning across their edges. Yet her face looked tired. As if eternity itself had grown heavy. Eli stepped forward, his voice steady. You sent me into the darkness. I did, she said, her tone both proud and cold. You have seen what lies beyond the veil. You have seen the truth of creation. I saw pain, he said. I saw the ones you called your children, lost and broken. The Empress's eyes flickered with something almost human. The fallen chose their path. No, Eli said. You built it for them. A low murmur rippled through the hall. Celestial guards tensed, but the Empress raised her hand, and all went still. You dare accuse me, she said softly. I'm not accusing, Eli replied. I'm reminding you. You created life to serve you. Then punished it when it began to think for itself. The Empress rose slowly. Her presence filled the hall like a rising storm. You do not understand, human. Without control, creation devours itself. Order is mercy. Eli's voice hardened. Then mercy has killed too much. A flash of energy burst from her, blue and gold, slamming into the floor near his feet. Lyra gasped, stepping in front of him. Mother, stop, she cried. The Empress's eyes widened slightly. Mother? Lyra's wings flared weakly. Yes. You created me. But he saved me. He gave me choice, something you never did. The Empress stared at her, as if seeing her for the first time. Then her voice cracked like thunder. Choice brings ruin. I watched entire realms fall because of it. Eli took another step forward. Maybe they fell because they were never free. The Empress's aura flared brighter. The walls trembled. Stars outside the hall blinked out. You would teach me of freedom, she hissed. Eli met her gaze without flinching. No. I'll show you. He raised his hand, the same hand that had repaired Lyra's broken wing, that had shone in the darkness of the fallen realm. The mark of light on his palm began to glow, brighter and brighter, until it matched the radiance of her own power. The Empress's eyes widened. That light, it was never meant to awaken. It's the part of you that remembers love, Eli said quietly. The part you buried to keep your empire alive. She stepped back as the light spread through the hall, touching every being there. For the first time, the Empress looked uncertain. What are you doing? Eli's voice was calm. You gave me creation. I'm giving it back. The light burst outward, pure, white, endless. The crystals cracked open like flowers. The kneeling angels looked up as color returned to their faces, emotion to their eyes. Lyra gasped as her wings transformed, no longer of gold, but of living sky. The Empress fell to her knees, gripping her chest as streams of light flowed out from her heart, connecting to every being in the room. Her voice trembled. I can feel them, their hearts, their dreams. Eli nodded. That's what creation really is, not control. Connection. Tears, real tears, formed in the Empress's eyes. For the first time in eons, she looked human. Lyra stepped forward. Mother, it's not too late. The Empress raised her head slowly. The power around her dimmed until only her true form remained, a woman of light and sorrow. She looked at Eli. You fixed my child. Now you have fixed me. He shook his head gently. No. You fixed yourself. Silence filled the hall. The Empress stood, wings folding behind her. Then she smiled, faintly, but real. Then let this empire be born again, without chains. She lifted her hands, and the veil above the hall shattered, a sound like glass breaking across the stars. Through it, countless worlds could be seen, connected by threads of light. The Empress looked at Eli one last time. Guide them. Dream for them. That is your purpose. The light engulfed her, and she was gone. When the brilliance faded, the hall stood empty. The throne was gone. But the veil, once a barrier, now shimmered like an open sky. Lyra stood beside Eli, watching it ripple. She's really gone. Eli nodded slowly. No. She became part of what she created. Lyra smiled faintly. Then she finally understood. Eli turned to her. What about us? Lyra extended her hand, her wings unfolding in the soft glow. We build what comes next. He took her hand, and together they stepped forward, into the open light. The stars around them pulsed like heartbeats, alive again. Creation had begun anew. And somewhere, deep within the light, the voice of the Empress whispered. Every repair begins with a broken thing, even hearts.